Hello. Fuck me. What the
That's going
fuck?
in. I
Hello,
gotta.
everybody, and welcome to the Afternoon Tune. I am your host, Josh, and with me are my two co-hosts.
It's your boy Chase.
And it's your boy Nick.
Today we got a good show. Today we're going to discuss, of course, Godzilla versus King Kong, big movie. The debuted on HBO Max. Of course, we're going to discuss
Big movie, fight of the century, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, absolutely. Then, of course, we're going to discuss, as we said before, we're going to do weekly reviews of Falcon and the Winter Soldier as well as Invincible. So we have a new show we're going to review weekly. And we're going to discuss the Saw trailer, the Spiral Book of Saw, the, I guess, continuation of the Saw movies, spinoff of the Saw movies, I guess you would say. A
That
reboot.
looks like a soft reboot.
Yeah, which is starring Chris Rock. So that's very interesting. So we're going to discuss that. How are you two doing?
Doing all right, man. Can't complain. How about you, Nick?
I'm good. Yesterday I got my second dose of the COVID-19 vaccine, so it's nice. I got that good old Bill Gates microchip in me.
Nice.
It's
How
kinda
does it
cool.
feel?
I mean, besides a strong urge to play Montero on repeat, it's fine, really. I just want to go straight down to hell and give Satan a lap dance. It's yeah, no big deal.
What was like the big deal with that? Because like I still haven't seen the music video, but doesn't he like kill Satan at the end of the video? So why is that a problem?
Yeah. It's a problem because he's a black gay musician.
Ah, okay.
That's why. That's the entire problem.
Okay. So it's racism and homophobia, not the,
Yeah,
not the satanic.
It's the trifecta pissing off the good old pearl clutching Christian moms. It's gay, black, and rap music.
Yeah.
Well, hip hop music.
Yeah, because rap music
It's
is
like a
become.
perfect storm of white Christian outrage.
Yeah.
I mean, rap music now has become. I mean, you got Drake. I think even soccer moms listen to Drake. So I don't think it's as scary as maybe it once was, like when it very first came out. I mean, it's
True,
still,
but you add satanic imagery and a black dude.
yeah.
That's scary. That's spooky shit right there.
Yeah, Lil Nas X is like just mixing stuff like the Professor and Powerpuff Girls. It's like, all right, some Satan imagery, some gay stuff, and hip hop music.
That's that struck a nerve. But I mean, like it's a masterclass in trolling though. Like his whole career is a masterclass in trolling.
Yeah, he is very good at playing the whole marketing social media game. He's very good on
Facts.
social media.
Yeah.
You know, and he's not as. It doesn't ever get to a dangerous level like Tekashi 6ix9ine. You know what I mean? It's not like that.
Yeah.
It's actually good trolling. It's fun. It's never something
It's
like
funny
stuff that.
trolling. It's never.
Yeah.
The difference between him and 6ix9ine is Nas X is actually funny.
Yeah.
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 I mean,
no, I followed him first for being a meme account. Like the whole music thing was just like an afterthought until Old Town Road popped off.
It was like the dude. It was like he was on his way of being a shit poster, and then he just tripped into a recording booth.
Yeah, no, literally, like that's how Old Town Road was. It was like it was a happy accident. Started off as a meme, and then out of nowhere, just like, oh wait, this is a song.
Jesus
And-
Christ, what platinum? How?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that song was #1 for I think like what it was like something like 20 weeks, 22 weeks or something.
Long enough for it to be featured in the last Rambo trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of trailers.
Absolutely. So with Spiral, Book of Saw, the movie starring Chris Rock, Samuel L. Jackson, which seems to be a continuation of the Saw series. Did you guys check out the trailer by any chance?
Yeah, I just saw it.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a big low-key. I'm a huge fan of the Saw franchise. I remember seeing the first one in theater on Blu-ray, and then from there, I think it was the sixth one that was coming out, and I got to see that at a midnight showing. Which those are the most fun at like a midnight crowd. Which unfortunately, it's not looking like we're gonna be able to go there.
Yeah. But in this trailer, so you see, basically the same thing that you've seen in other Saw movies. You have a serial killer character who's kidnapping people, making them play a game, toying with the detectives, trying to investigate the case. So very similar stuff that you've seen before. It's just about why the killer is doing what he's doing. Because I've seen some of the Saw movies. The ideology of why he did what he did was always in and out. It's kind of shaky.
The story of those movies are all over the fucking place. It's like he starts out, it's like, yes, you don't appreciate life, therefore I'm gonna put you in this trap and torture the fuck out of you until you do.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like people.
Then as they went along, it became more like he's kind of like a vigilante. He was like targeting like corrupt city officials, corrupt police officers, corrupt medical insurance heads, which is the basis of the sixth one, which the same director of that is returning here, as well as the same writers. Because this directed by Darren Lynn Bousman, who did Saw 2, 3, and 6, which 3 is but I genuinely like 2 and 6.
Okay. Yeah, I would have to go back and look at a lot of the Saw movies to see which ones I like and pick them out specifically. But with this one, it looks like somewhat that maybe the killer has a personal involvement with the Chris Rock character. Maybe they're intertwined in some way, which is nice. Maybe they're intertwined in some way. And a lot of this movie, so it depends on what direction they're going to go for. They're going to go for the mostly, because it's Saw, they're going to treat Saw like a Final Destination situation, where are they going to just put so much focus on the traps and the kills rather than the story and the characters. Chris Rock,
which was kind of the detriment of the latter Saw movies, of the weaker ones. But just looking at this trailer and the teaser that they released previously, it looks like they're going for more of a 7 tone, because there are definitely a lot of similarities to like something like 7, leaving messages behind it. It looks like they're dealing with more relevant topics like today, because like the new puppet, it's like a little piggy in a police uniform.
Okay.
Yeah. So they could be, a lot of people speculating, could be about the killer's motivation is against the police, maybe it's a situation, police brutality situation. That could be what the big motivating factor for this killer is. So, I mean, it looks interesting. I think Chris Rock, leading this. I think Chris Rock has gotten better as an actor as he's gone along. I still don't think
he's amazing in the last season of Fargo, which I finally got to check out. He's amazing in that. I mean, in comparison to most of his other acting roles.
Yeah, I still have to check out the latest season of Fargo. I usually keep up with Fargo. I like that show a lot. I have to check that newest season out with him in it. I think I'm a couple seasons behind, because I don't think I saw the season with Ewan McGregor either. So I have to check that one out too. But I still don't think, his top performance is when he was the crackhead in New Jack City. That's still his, pinnacle performance. I thought he did the best.
Oh man, I'm gonna die.
Yeah, that one was really convincing. I really believed that was probably the best acting he's done.
Jigsaw, help me! I'm gonna die.
You ain't shit, Josh.
I mean, that was a great. That was a good performance. It was New Jack when he was the crackhead in New Jack City. That was great. I mean,
of course, the crackhead is your favorite role for him.
Yeah, you always gotta pick the crackhead role.
Yeah, next you're gonna tell me Dave's best role was being a crackhead too.
It was one of his funniest skits. That was one of his funniest skits. But
okay.
So I'm sorry. Clayton Bigsby is sitting right here.
Yeah, it's a classic. I mean, he's had a lot of classic sets, things like that. So it's in competition. But yeah, like I said, from this trailer, it looks really good. Something that we're looking forward to seeing. When does this come out? Let me see. I have to check out when the Spiral movie comes out because it comes out this year. Hopefully, it's going to come on VOD, but it says right here May 14th. It's going to come out. So I don't know if it's going to be a VOD release or a maybe release in theaters. It says here right now it's just scheduled to be released. Yeah.
So for me, Saw was kind of a late discovery. I didn't really get into them until like around Saw 6. And then I started watching them and realized that these movies are essentially just an annual soap opera with a lot of blood and guts. And that's what they are. And those are cheesy, but the better ones in that franchise were the ones that dealt with kind of that went with something that, okay, we're actually going to try to say something here about the state of America. Like the sixth one, it was talking about the healthcare crisis. That was when health insurance and that crisis in the news. And it looks like this one, it looks like they're dealing with like police brutality, which, especially given the previous year we've had, couldn't be more relevant. I am curious that this is a story that was pitched by Chris Rock. He came to them with this idea, and then they bankrolled it. And you got a guy like Samuel L. Jackson, which, let's be real, an A-lister like him would never be in a Saw movie unless he saw something in this story. I am more curious than cautious because it has like kind of a big red flag as far as like movie trailers go, where like the end where they show the release date, they also show featuring Spiral by 21 Savage. New music by 21 Savage, including the new single Spiral, which the last movie that marketed itself with the new song was Elizabeth Banks' Charlie's Angels, and we saw how that turned out.
Yeah. So you're getting trap music with your traps. That's pretty good. You know what I mean?
That's a combination. I'm surprised it hasn't been done before.
Music.
Yeah. So very good. So look forward to seeing what it offers and what it brings to the table. So moving on from discussing Spiral, we're going to discuss the main event on the card here: Godzilla versus King Kong.
Okay, blue corner. He stands 700 feet tall, weighing in at 5 kilotons. Godzilla.
Yeah. I mean, so this is, the big event that people have been waiting for, and it's not Godzilla v Kong. It's not a court battle. It's not like Batman v Superman.
No, it's not Godzilla v Kong, Dawn of the fucking like Monsterverse or whatever. It's Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah, absolutely. And the main kind of stuff it boils down to here is it's Godzilla versus Kong. All the other stuff is secondary. Who really cares? You know what I mean? You're just kind of interested in who's
Adam Wingard with directing this. He took a look at the criticism of the previous Monsterverse movie. With Kong, that was kind of more lighthearted. That was a lot more fun. The human characters were just kind of like, yeah, whatever. We all know what we're here to see. And with the previous Godzillas, it was like, one, Godzilla is barely in these fucking movies, and I do not give a shit about any of these humans. And you took that criticism to say, okay, best of both worlds. The humans in here, while they are not that important, they are at least charismatic and cool enough that I didn't mind when we were on them for a while, especially because the humans in this movie are essentially just the exposition characters. They're just here to explain to us what's going on, and then okay, got it. Okay, back to Kong.
Okay. So with these MonsterVerse movies, it's starting off with Godzilla. I thought Godzilla, the 2014 one, was kind of dull, kind of boring. Don't think they really, they did try to do the thing where they kind of be the mysterious side of it, kind of show the more kind of ominous side of Godzilla, but it made for a very lackluster kind of film because you really want to see Godzilla in action, and they didn't really do that enough. It wasn't something like Shin Godzilla, which had a much smaller budget, but it was showing Godzilla more from a government response perspective rather than the creature itself, which was very interesting if that's what you wanted to do with that, and a lot of people do praise that film for that. Then after that one, there was, I believe it was Kong Skull Island. Right after that one came out 3 years later, 2017, which is, I think, the second best one out of these. From this one, from King of the Monsters, I think it's the second best one. I think with that one, there was a better story. There was a good, more, I think, human element to Kong. I mean, I think it's easier to root for Kong in some cases than Godzilla because it's more of a human element with the character. He can more. You can look at his face. He can
because Kong is essentially a giant ape. He's able to like express human emotions, so it's easier for us to sympathize with him as a character. Also, you had probably one of the best John C. Reilly performances in an actual really heartfelt story in that.
Yeah, and that's what also I was. What you say?
Also, just with Jay Wiggum in that, the funniest fucking fake out heroic death I've ever seen in theaters. It was like he's going towards one of the monsters with 2 grenades, and the monster just like slaps him into a mountain.
Oh yeah, everybody talks about that death scene, like one of the most wasted deaths in any movie ever, like just completely.
That is the best one by far.
Yeah. But yeah, the John C. Reilly character, I think he's the best human character they've ever had in these MonsterVerse movies. I think he was able to bring the humor but bring also the good emotion and heart to the film as well. And the whole story with Kong itself, of him, protecting this island, and especially the smaller creatures from these skull crawlers, that was a good element of it as well. So I really did appreciate it. And a lot of the fights, they were in daytime. So you saw it in broad daylight, and he looked amazing, and the fights looked really good. And then there was King of the Monsters, Godzilla, which I thought was an improvement over Godzilla. You got to see Godzilla fight a lot more. King Ghidorah and all these other different creatures. He even had a love interest in it who he was hanging out with. You know what I mean? So that was pretty nice. But a lot of it, the fights felt kind of the same. A lot of the fights, they were in darkness at nighttime, had kind of that blue tint kind of glow to it all the time, in the fights. But with this one here, I will say a lot of the fights there are in daytime. So you make out clearly perfectly what's happening. The special effects look amazing. I think I did this movie a disservice by watching it at home. I think this would be amazing if you actually went to the theater to go see it, if you feel safe enough to do so. To see it in this is a type of movie that you would want to see in IMAX, that you want to see in a big theater with the sound system so loud that it actually shakes your seat. I mean, this is kind of something that you'd want. Like, you would want to feel every single hit and every single slap that each creature is doling out on each other. I think this is something that would be heavily beneficial from that. The human characters in this one. So in this one, you have some returning characters from the other movies. Like Godzilla, King of Monsters. You see Millie Bobby Brown. She's back. She was in that one. You see Kyle Chandler's back in this one. Kyle Chandler has barely...
He's in like 5 minutes of this, and thank God.
Yeah, he's barely in this. You also have the Brian Tyree Henry character, who's much different role than I've ever seen him play before. Usually, I've seen him in Atlanta. Seeing him when he was in that movie Hotel Artemis with Jodie Foster, when he was in Widows. This is a much kind of different role that I'm typically used to seeing Brian Tyree Henry in it, but it's a little goofy, it's a little cartoonish. Sometimes in these monster movies, I feel like they have to have a character who's so overly cartoonish or overly kind of goofy, and a lot of these, they feel like they have to have that character or kind of overplay that character in these movies a lot.
So I'd rather it be over the top than be so self-serious like the previous Godzilla movies.
Yeah.
You also have Julian Dennison in this one. He was a kid in Deadpool 2, and he was in Hunt for the Wilder People. They kind of pal around. So the three of them kind of have their own story, palling around a little bit because Brian Tyree Henry has this conspiracy podcast.
Yeah, Brian Tyree Henry is playing Alex Jones. Let's be real.
Yeah. So, but actually, he's actually correct for his information. He's actually got facts. You know what I mean? He actually operates in facts, actually, because he actually works at this industry called Apex, which is head up by Damian Bashir. And there's this big kind of weapons program. And his daughter in this is what's her name? Isaiah
Gonzalez from Baby Driver, from
Dusk Till Dawn.
a lot.
Yeah, from My Care Live. She was the Salma Hayek role in the From Dusk Till Dawn TV series, as well, when they did the TV series of that. And a lot of stuff in this. I mean, the like science fiction element in this is hyped up a lot because they drive around in like these, like there's almost some stuff out of Marvel. I mean, like these kind of spaceships they kind of ride around in, traveling to these different locations. Is very interesting.
Yep, I was not expecting a sequel to the core in my Godzilla versus Kong movie.
Yeah, I mean it's like, wow. I mean, the technology that they have in this is kind of just like, wow, this is impressive. So you have these human characters. Again, I don't think any of the human characters in this one compared to John C. Reilly at all in Skull Island. I don't think it even comes close to, I think, what he did in that film. And they try to give some backstory to some characters, like Brian Tyree Henry. Of course, he has to have a lost spouse or something like that. That's always an immediate way to get you to feel for a character. It's like, oh, they lost a sibling or a relative.
Also, nobody starts a conspiracy podcast if they are happily married.
That's true. That's very true.
You also have Alexander Skarsgård in this, and then him and Rebecca Hall, and the child in this, who the deaf child in this actually is really deaf. So they did get a real deaf child to be a part of this, and they've created kind of like this hollow Earth, basically, for Kong, where he can get to kind of play around this world. Basically, just created one big zoo for him. You know what I mean? Have this whole big zoo by himself. And so I thought that was really nice. They actually had a girl in this who was really deaf, and they did sign language in it, which makes me think, like, if they want to do kind of more of these, Kong movies and everything like that, and you want to even have him be even more kind of bring out the more human element of him, if he could actually do more sign language, and like, actually maybe, kind of like Planet of the Apes or something like that.
Yeah, I was about to say, okay, Caesar.
They do more kind of, that element. That'd be interesting if they
like the next movie, it's Planet of the Kong. It's just Kong leading an army of intelligent apes.
Yeah.
Caesar just comes in as the post-credit scene. Is like, I want to talk to you about the Ape Initiative.
It brings in all the famous apes. You know what I mean? He even converts like Gorilla Grodd into a good guy, and it's the monkey from the Wonder Twins. He brings in all the fucking apes from all the universes. Goes to the multiverse.
Well, I mean, none of them can fight Kong, so they're gonna have to be good.
Apes.
Yeah, maybe if
Kong is like their tank.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe if Gorilla Grodd set up like a big machine, like his own Cerebro, maybe he could mind control Kong if he sets his own Cerebro.
Mecha Kong.
Yeah, like see, we look. That's a good sequel, man. I'm telling you, man. That's good. We got to start saying these good ideas. I don't want them to take our ideas.
Yeah,
These are good ideas.
They gotta pay us.
Yeah. Hey, Warner Brothers, hit us up. We got some good ideas, man. Let's write that script.
I mean, Warner Brothers. Do you hate money?
Yeah, this is good ideas, man. I mean, like mind control Godzilla, and then he's crossing the multiverse and teams up with other Godzillas. This is a good idea. This is money.
Kong teams up with the Avengers.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
And then have Godzilla team up with Thanos, or no, Galactus.
Like, Godzilla teams up with like the Justice League, and every time he leaves, you got a trio of horny Icelandic women left their village.
Yeah. It makes sense for Kong to be a part of the Avengers because he had his own kind of axe in this, like Thor had his axe. I mean, I'm like,
true.
What
he had a nuclear axe though.
Yeah. What did Thor call his weapon again? What was it?
Stormbreaker.
He had his own Stormbreaker in this. I'm like, damn. I'm like, wow, he's got his own Stormbreaker. Like,
I guess you call it Nuke Breaker because.
Yeah. Well, no, that's
by the way.
Terrible. Holy shit, that's terrible. Damn. Okay, I wish I had a soundboard for that.
Oh yeah.
What, Nuke Breaker?
Yeah, I wish I had a soundboard.
Yeah. Which, by the way, how did nobody get radioactive poisoning in this entire film?
Well, we don't know yet. Maybe they're gonna
Stop right there. Stop right there. Chayse, you were trying to use logic with a movie called Godzilla versus Kong.
I'm just talking shit.
Stop that shit. Stop
listen,
that
man.
shit right now.
Listen, man.
Be real.
Listen,
Let's be real. This movie is
listen, man.
fucking stupid. Let's
Listen,
be real. It's stupid, but it's fun. It's the most fun I've had watching a movie this year so far.
Yeah.
This movie knows exactly what it is. It knows you do not give a shit about the human characters. You do not give a shit about plot. You just are here to see giant monsters beat the shit out of each other.
It's been
And it delivers.
So here's my problem, right? Because it does try to act like the human characters exist for a little bit too long. And it's not like, I mean, I guess you could argue against me saying like they don't take the human characters that seriously, but like I didn't need the conspiracy theorist Paperboy and Millie Bobby Brown storyline. I really didn't.
Yeah, I didn't need the trio of Paperboy, fucking 11, and Fire Fist.
Yeah, no, that didn't need to happen. That was not the crossover I wanted from this movie. Now everything going on with Kong and like the girl, I think that is pretty decent. I think they do a pretty decent job trying to get you to care about both of them. And like she as an actor, like she shows a good range of emotions. Especially because I'm imagining she had to look at like a big ass fucking green ball or something. But but you know, I just wish that this movie spent a lot less time with the human characters. And the one human character that actually did kind of interest me, they spent no time with, which was the guy making Mecha Godzilla. And that could have been at least, like, if you are going to have a human element, that could have been at least like a little bit more interesting to spend more time with than the Scooby-Doo trio you got going on with Paperboy 11.
Which it is kind of sad because if you look at the cast list, it's a lot bigger because you have another character returning from Godzilla King of the Monsters and Zhang Ji, who was like one of the scientists who was studying him. Jessica Henwick was attached to this at one point, and it looks like those scenes got cut along with development for the villain characters, the people designing Mecha Godzilla, because I was looking it up. The Japanese man who is like the pilot for Mecha, he's supposed to be the son of Ken Watanabe's character. That's who he's supposed to be. Yeah, and I guess that just got cut.
Huh. Yeah, no, I'd much rather spend time with him and just like say like give Godzilla like a trail of like a whole worldwide tour of bases to destroy, because he's sensing like the energy of Mecha, and he's just like tearing up each base, and Khan is like trying to chase after him pretty much. I'd much rather that story with than what we got. But you know, it is what it is. Once we got to the action, that was fun. The way the fight choreography in this film, phenomenal. Some of the best action scenes we've seen this decade.
Yep, and it's and everything. Even when it's at night, it's all well lit. You can see everything going on. The color palette in this, I never knew a fucking neon Godzilla Kong movie would look as good as this does.
Just the way that they're able to use Kong and Godzilla's abilities in this film is a lot. It fixed a lot of the issues with King of the Monsters combat, which was basically, you know, just like big monster punching and fire breathing, because Khan has an intellect, so he's able to like figure out and maneuver. All right, like he's actually using like low-key some like UFC type shit sometimes. And you know, he's using like weapons. He has opposable thumbs, so that helps. And you know, Godzilla is kind of just adapting to him and they're adapting to each other as the fights go on, which I thought was really interesting. But it's just the human element, man. The human element drags this shit for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think the human element does a good job of taking you from, you know, one scene to the next scene, and then it you know, up until there's the next big fight scene. And I think
Yes.
I think my favorite kind of human character in this is probably the little girl, the deaf girl. I think she's kind of her relationship with Kong, like you said, I think is the more heart of the film there. Just having their whole speaking through sign language, I think is very very good. In this film, I will say that obviously spoilers because we brought up Godzilla and stuff like that.
Y'all
and,
knew.
you know
Y'all
what I
knew he was in
mean?
here.
Everybody
so-
fucking knew.
So I just
They,
spoilers for
they
that.
didn't even try to hide it.
Yeah. He was
Yeah.
in the trailer.
Yeah, he was in the trailer. You can look at the trailer and you see a background shot that somebody's looking at like a monitor or something like that, where you see obviously Mechagodzilla. So that was kind of it was big, but just spoilers. We're gonna put it on the front of the video and everything like that, just to let people know, in case nobody wants to check it out.
Nah, fuck y'all.
Y'all knew.
Y'all knew.
So
So like
for something everybody fucking knew.
Yeah.
So like Chase said, I mean the fight choreography in this is really amazing. I mean, obviously this being a film made in 2021, you can do a lot of more stuff in the special effects than you ever could before, when these creatures first existed. And that adds to the benefit a lot. And I think the back and forth that these creatures have is really great. I think that obviously, we're going to talk about, one of the down kind of elements of this, like we've been saying, kind of human elements and kind of some of the characters, which is, kind of going to be the weaker things in a lot of these movies, which is kind of going to be a big criticism a lot of people have with a lot of these situations. But the main characters are Godzilla and Kong, and how well, do those two characters do at making you, kind of care about them, care about this fight, care about what's happening, because sometimes even if you have good action, you have to have meaning sometimes behind it, or it has to be somewhat, because it can be a situation like Man of Steel, where you get these people punching each other, but it means nothing. Like it means nothing, and there's no real stakes to anything. This one, I mean, both people, both characters are at risk of losing their life. I mean, even though you're not knowing they're not going to do it, they're going to kill off Kong or Godzilla, but you know what I mean. The danger, the threat is there. How they get kind of tired in the fight is good, you know what I mean? Like, you see Kong, you know what I mean? He's just like, okay, hold on, give me a minute. Okay, just give me some water. Hold on, give me a break. Time out real quick, you know what I mean?
Rap.
Man.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
I wish, and we talked about this prior, I wish that they could have just turned this into an actual, like, UFC regulated fight, like just have rounds. We don't need the humans talking. It's a battle between the apex predators. Just get a ref, do some rounds. I'd much rather watch that for 2 hours than what we got. Give us different locations, like drop them off in Antarctica for one round, drop them off in a city for the second round, drop them off next to a volcano. Much better movie. Cut the check, Warner Brothers.
So I guess to give my final thoughts about it, wrap up about it. Very enjoyable. Like I said, I think if you can see it in theaters, I think it'd probably be a much better experience, seeing it. Because definitely I think worth the price of admission. Fun movie. Had a good time watching it. Thought it was really solid. I give it a 7.5 out of 10. Chase?
I'm like debating between a 6 and a 7, because the action is that good that it does deserve a 7, but just the story, like the actual like film elements of it make me feel like I shouldn't put this up next to my other 7s. But it is a fun movie, so take that as you will.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nick?
This movie is just how I feel about it. It reminds me a lot of another movie we covered a couple weeks ago, Boss Level. It's just a very fun 2-hour beat 'em up movie with amazing action sequences and an actual compelling fight between both Godzilla and Kong. And a rare thing in a versus movie, there's an actual clear winner. It's not this bullshit of, okay, it's just gonna be a situation where, okay, we're both too evenly matched or the fight gets stopped. No, there's a very clear if I wanted to, I could kill you moment.
Yeah.
And while the human element of this is definitely the weakest part of it, it didn't bother me in the same way that it did in Godzilla or in King of the Monsters. It was like the chemistry between everybody was good enough, even in the group that I like the least, in Paperboy, Levin, and Firefist. Their chemistry was good enough that I didn't mind seeing them. I wished it moved along, but it was alright. It was a nice breather in between the action sequences, because if a sequence goes on too long, it just gets exhausting to follow. But for me, overall, I'd say this is a solid 7 out of 10. I definitely recommend seeing this in theaters if you're you got your vaccine, you're wearing your mask, you're social distancing, or you just want to like put your mask on, spray some chrome on there, and just scream at the ticket clerk, "Witness me!"
No, this is it sucks what's going on, because this is definitely a blockbuster movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I am happy to be able to see it at home.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, so moving on from discussing Godzilla versus Kong, we're going to discuss Invincible, episode 4, the Amazon Prime series. And this episode, we have a follow-up. So with this episode, we have Mark, who is continuing dating, trying to date his high school girlfriend, or trying to make it a thing, who's voiced by Zazie Beetz. That girl's name, her character's name is Ashley, right? Zazie Beetz' character?
No. I don't know her name, but it's definitely not Ashley.
Oh, okay. I thought it was maybe Ashley. Okay, but it's the character voiced by
Amber.
Amber, yeah, Amber. Okay. You will remember. Shout out to my Danny Phantom fans.
Yeah, Amber. Okay, so yeah, with Amber. So you have him, he's continuously dating her, and gets into that situation. Kind of maybe we've all been on the date where something you're looking at something and go, oh yeah, this is nice. Yeah, I could definitely get it for you. Oh wait, hold on, look at the price. Oh shit. You know what? Let's get you something a little cheaper. How about this? How about water? How about this paper cup? I can get you this. This is nice, right?
Yeah.
Memories.
I don't know you that well.
Like, oh Jesus. Yeah. So they're hanging out at going on a date to a nice festival, things like that. You also you have Darkblood, Damien Darkblood, who's still hot on the trails of Nolan. Omni-Man, trying to investigate the case of the murdered Guardians. That's always very interesting. Clancy Brown is really great. I mean, this is kind of a role that he's kind of born to do. I mean, he was just kind of born to play these type of characters. Voice. I mean, this is kind of what he was made for.
This Clancy Brown could do in his sleep.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, this is kind of what he's made for. You also have Sandra Oh, who starting to get a little bit more suspicious of Omni-Man, starting to kind of maybe kind of feel something's off. Omni-Man is acting a little bit more different, acting distant. They start to have kind of a spout with each other. And the big thing about this episode is now you have a situation where Mark gets his own mission where he has to assist a team to Mars, and astronauts to Mars. And it's funny, the interaction he has when he goes on the mission, and the agent, who's voiced by Walton Goggins, says okay, well, be careful. There are Martians that live underneath the planet. He says, oh wait, there's Martians that exist? And he's like, yeah, where do you think Martian Man comes from? He's like, oh, well, I didn't really think about that. Yeah, good point. Yeah, I didn't really think about that. So I thought that was a nice kind of is more of what the show can do. So it can go from something like what we've seen with the first episode, with the kind of episodes being as violently brutal as kind of that stuff, and being as dark as that, to this one, which would be something you would more see in line of Cartoon Network, maybe a Young Justice episode, where the mission, the team has a kind of small A/B kind of storyline mission of they have to assist or escort some people to do something, which is more kind of in line with what you would see with something like that.
Well,
which I oh yeah.
Well, I mean, except with how both of those stories end.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, the you know, yeah, when it gets
Yeah,
kind of
it was like that was one of the better things about the comic. It was always every story it would have like this moment where it's kind of like something lighter tone, something you'd probably see on like Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon until the reveal, and it reminds you how fucking violent and unforgiving this world is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which it didn't hit me as much as it did in the first episode, but I was still like, damn!
Yeah, no. Mark screwed up heavily. And we'll see how much like that like
Yeah,
affects...
I think Mark is responsible for genocide.
Yeah, low key
Shit, man.
he accidentally caused a genocide. We'll see if that actually like affects him or his character later on down the line. But like there's like moments like that, and then also like we have a cold opening where there's this like mummy resurrection, and Mark accidentally ends that already just by him flying over it over the scene.
Oh yeah.
You remember that? When the mom
yeah.
was awakening, and then out of nowhere, the tomb shuts down because him and Omni-Man are just happen to fly by.
Yeah. Which was a nice opening, like him teaching them how to fly more and how to be more proficient at it. Like that was a good scene. Yeah. So I mean, the show, I mean, it kind of has that nice dark humor of the boys. You know, but it looks like a cartoon, and you know, has that kind of that feel like, oh, this is something I should be watching on, you know, Cartoon Network or something like that. Which kind of it's nice they're able to really balance those tones pretty well. What did you guys think about this episode?
I liked it. It was it made me feel uneasy at points, especially between the mom and Omni-Man, because I mean, I don't know what happens to her in the comics, but it really does feel like she's gonna bite it. Like, and because I feel like that's the only thing that'll truly separate Omni-Man and Mark is if something happens to her. And that whole episode, it felt like he was just gonna snap on her. I'm not. I mean, granted, it does seem like he loves her, but I'm not entirely convinced that he wouldn't, you know, just kill her. You know?
Yeah, with this show, especially with how Amazon dropped it with just the first 3 episodes, the tension is already high. And you already established that that characters that are set up to be, okay, we're going to be following these guys around for the entire season, this is going to be like our secondary protagonist, and you kill them off that violently at the end of the first episode. And from there, the tension is just ratcheted up. You never know what is going to happen, and you already know that Omni-Man is the guy who did it. You know he's capable of that. You know he's capable of wiping out an entire planet by himself. And especially in the scenes with him and Sandra Oh's character, you never know where it's going to go, which is just amazing writing on the show's part.
Yeah, because it's just like there's moments where he's like, you know, he's this lovable guy, like father, but then like he'll like say something very off, like, oh yeah, no, she drinks too much.
And the show and J.K. Simmons' performance, he is that kind of performance is a tightrope. It's like 1 minute he's like this loving, caring father figure, loving husband, but you know, just one wrong thing and he can snap.
Yeah, no, it reminds me of Whiplash to some degree, just like the way he's playing Omni-Man, because like he'll go from like, you know, being like a somewhat considerate sounding mentor, and then out of nowhere just snap if you're not on his tempo.
Don't worry about the numbers, don't worry about the timing, just relax. Why do you suppose I threw a chair at your head?
And he's just like ramping that up as this like fatherly figure and husband character, and it's they're doing such a good job with that. It's really,
and he's so good at playing that loving father character, it makes you almost forget that this character is that monstrous deep down. It almost makes you forget that.
Yeah. No, I'm loving this show a lot, just for that relationship alone.
Yeah,
absolutely. This is only 4 episodes in, but it's actually becoming one of my favorite comic book shows out now.
Really?
Yeah. Same.
Even more than Harley Quinn the animated series. And
Hey,
I said one of, not mine.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I hate to say it like this, but I was much more hyped to watch this than I was Cap and Falcon and Winter Soldier. I mean, even though I do like the show, don't get me wrong, but like I just love this world.
Invincible,
and
I think
these characters.
Has a lot more. Invincible is something new. I think it has more going for it. It's more of a style that with these heroes.
Invincible's something newer. It's just on the platform that it's on, it can tell these much darker stories than you could in something like Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Because while I agree with you, Chase, that show is awesome, it does have kind of the anchor of being in the MCU.
Yeah.
And the stakes in that are kind of lowered in comparison to this.
Yeah. Even though they do get into some good stuff in Winter Soldier, just about kind of some of the stuff they get into, more about kind of the government and everything like that. But it's still Marvel, it's still Disney, it's still heavily filtered, with all that, with all the stuff that comes with that.
That show is easily PG-13. This is a hard R.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So it definitely definitely.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier makes love. Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That show makes love. Invincible, it fucks. It fucks hard.
Shout out to all the parents that accidentally played Invincible for their kids. I wonder how many people actually made that confusion. I wish.
Just a look at the show, you could very easily confuse this for this kid show. What? TVMA rating. Okay, little Timmy, you can watch it. The first episode has This show went from zero to David Fincher fast.
So to wrap up my thoughts about this episode, I thought it was a good, solid episode. I thought, the situation where you find out the reveal at the end of this, just because I've been kind of looking up some more stuff about the comic, spoiling myself a little bit. So the stuff with the robot, what's the robot's name?
He's just called Robot, and he's voiced by Zachary from Heroes, from JJ from Star Trek.
Yeah.
And of course, American Horror Story.
Yeah, American Horror Story. So I looked up some more stuff about it. So again, if you don't want to, if you haven't read the comics, if you just want to go by the show and everything like that, just tune out for a little bit.
Hey, wait, hold on. I'm just watching the show. I'm not reading the comics. Don't spoil the comic book shit.
Oh, okay.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Okay. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. So another.
Just because you fucked up and spoiled yourself doesn't mean we all should.
Wait, hold on. The fuck?
Oh, okay. So we can talk about the other reveal with the Walton Goggins character, how he knows that Omni-Man did kill the Guardians, and then he sent Darkblood back to hell.
Or did he?
Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, so maybe he's there as a poltergeist. You know what I mean. Maybe he's gonna be just haunting Nolan. Possess him. I don't know. You know what I mean. Make him like do that thing they do in horror movies when Nolan's washing his face. He looks down, looks up at the mirror, then sees his face. Maybe do something like that.
But it's also very clear that Darkblood, he cannot get the jump on Omni-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, they make it clear in this episode because they do that classic noir storytelling of the detective confronting the killer before he has all the evidence. I know you did it. I'm just waiting on you to fuck up so I can catch you.
Yeah. It makes for a good cat and mouse game. That's very, very interesting. Yeah, it makes for a good cat and mouse game. With the fact that Walton Goggins' character already knows That he's trying to figure out a good way to take down Omni-Man is very interesting. So yeah, and then there's another kind of stinger at the with Robot, which is also very very interesting and very good as well. Good stuff to lead to the future. So with this, I give this episode. I think maybe I'll wait till the season's over with, and then I'll just maybe just do that. I mean, with the 3-episode block, I think that was better because you could get a general feel of the series and give a rating on that and give people recommend it.
Once you have like 3-4 episodes, you can kind of get a sense of where the show is going. You get a sense of the tone of it. It's easier to judge a show off the first 3 episodes than it is on just a pilot.
Yeah. So do you guys have any final thoughts about the episode?
I'm loving it. Looking forward to the further development between just like whether or not the mom is going to figure out what happened, what truly happened. Seeing more of whatever the hell Mark is going to be up to next week. That's always fun. And then also just to see
what genocide is Mark going to cause next week.
Yeah. And also just of course the cat and mouse game between Omni-Man and what's his name again, Darkblood.
Yep.
Because I feel like they had to do the exorcism just to make it just to give Omni-Man the sense
if nothing
that,
else, just for show.
Yeah, just to give him the sense that, oh, I'm in the clear now, we're good. Because they made it seem like that was the one guy that could figure it out for sure. So
yeah, absolutely. All right, yeah. So very good episode. Gonna review the next one next week. What said?
My thoughts, motherfucker.
Oh, you didn't get your thoughts? I thought you gave your thoughts already.
Shit.
Yeah, no.
My bad.
Yeah, let Nick speak.
Oh shit, my bad. I thought you already gave. Oh, sorry about that. I thought you already gave your thoughts. My bad. Oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah, Nick,
it's cool. But yeah, I'm praising the show so highly because it's doing something that not a lot of comic book shows do. This truly feels like the comic book come to life. We talked about like Into the Spider-Verse, how it does it in look. This show does it in its episodic format and in its tone. Because the first 3 episodes, you could essentially read those as like one trade, one bit collection. Just with how like the title card comes in every episode, it's very much like reading the comic. You get a couple of panels down, and then you see title card. And definitely the cat mouse game between Omni-Man and Darkblood is interesting, but all the like personal relationship stuff, that's just as good as all of it. Like the chemistry with Zazie Beetz and Steven Yeun, it's amazing when you consider that they probably weren't even in the same recording booth. It's cute without being too saccharine, and that relationship is really good. So is Sandro and J.K. Simmons. Their chemistry is great. And again, the tension building in this show, it's nothing short of incredible. You know Omni-Man is a monster, and yet you're still letting your guard down, seeing him interact with Mark and with his wife. Yeah, this is fast becoming one of my favorite comic book shows.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes next week. What planet-wide genocide that Mark causes again.
Yeah.
Dude. Mark is such a good fuck up.
Yeah. I mean, I guess he's just like what makes him.
Also,
I think
another thing is like with the last shot of the astronauts, and you see one of them. It's like it shapeshifts to fix the flag on his uniform. It was like, was that one of the monsters that killed everyone, or another Martian?
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, very very interesting. Yeah.
Do you think they're ever going to go back to that plot line, or do you think that was just like this week's kind of just like one-off?
I think if the show is smart, they'd save it for like a second or a third season, because the show is so densely packed that, and they only have 8 episodes. I feel like if they go back to that within the season, it'll just kind of like distract from your main plot line, which is Mark and Nolan.
Maybe they'll find a way to work it in. Maybe they'll find a way to do something. A good voice work by Jimon Hansu, by the way, who was the head of the Martians.
Dudes, yeah, that dude is staying getting them comic book checks.
Yeah,
I swear though, every Martian is black without fail.
Yeah,
in every series ever.
he's just got the voice for it. Jimon Hansu. I talk about Clancy Brown. Like Jimon Hansu just has the voice. It's like, if I ever pictured what a Martian would sound like, it's like I think he'd sound like Jimon Hansu. It's like, yeah, this is why, this is kind of what I think a Martian would sound like if he spoke. Yeah. Sure. So I was like, you know what I mean? I was like, he's pretty good voice. But I mean, a lot of things, about Mark is just that he's a teenager. And it's like what a teenager
realistically like a teenager.
Yeah, it's like if you made a teenager invincible, you gave him superpowers. It's like this is what he would do with superpowers. And even when he was taking the mission to Mars, and then he's trying to talk to his father about it, he's like, well, yeah, I mean, I've been to the moon. He's like, yeah, that's just the moon. That's not really space. You know what I mean? Just going to the moon. and the fact that you
talking like a teenager. The fact that you don't know how far away Mars is, it shows you that you're not ready.
Yeah, it shows you your ass should still be in school. Like the fact that you don't even know how far Mars is away from Earth, the fact you just stay there.
Yeah, that was a good quip.
Yeah. So yeah, the writing in it is very solid, very, very good stuff as well in this show as well. All right, so moving on from discussing Invincible, we're going to discuss the newest episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So in this new episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, you have John Walker and Battlestar, going out and trying to round up the Flag Smashers, trying to investigate them, and they're running into a lot of dead ends. And at one point, they even bust into a supposed hideout for the Flag Smashers, where they're confronting the dude. And this is in Germany, and the dude just straight up spits in his face, and he just goes screams in his face, do you know who I am? So it just kind of it feels like they're building more with the character of John Walker, more of like people don't see him as Captain America, or they just don't care, especially like maybe Steve Rogers carried that respect, because the guy just straight up says, I don't care who you are, I don't care you're Captain America, I don't care you wear a shield,
I know exactly who you are, fuck off.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't fuck it with America, why would I do that? You know what I mean? I hate red, white, and blue. Those are my least favorite colors.
Well, I mean, the major difference between him and Steve is a certain serum that he lacks.
But I mean, you think that he thinks that putting on the shield and then it the costume, it carries the same respect as that maybe Steve got, and the respect Steve got wasn't really the shield or the colors, it was Steve himself. I mean, Steve, it was the man behind it, not really the symbols behind it.
Yes. Steve Rogers is Captain America. You had basically an entire movie in the Winter Soldier where for 90% of it, he's not even in the suit. He's not in the Captain America uniform, and it's still Captain America. Just by how Steve is as a person, and you're getting to see the cracks in John Walker, and showing something that we already knew, that we might have been convinced in the previous episode, he is not the right guy for it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough. I mean, you're dealing with superpowered beings, and you're not a superpowered being, and you're trying your best. You know what I mean? You get all this responsibility. You're supposed to be America's new golden boy. It's a lot of responsibility. I mean, it's tough to maintain that. So in this one, we also saw the follow-up of the last episode where we see both Bucky and both Sam go talk to Baron Zemo, Daniel Bruhl, and he's still just as good as ever as Baron Zemo. Daniel Bruhl is a very, very good actor.
He is wonderful.
Yeah. I mean, really good. I thought by the way, this is spoilers for the episode. Discussing the episode, we're going to, of course, like we always do with a lot of these, discuss them in really great detail. And where Bucky breaks him out of prison. Don't really know if that's good with his parole. Don't know how that's going to really, happen. He got busted for missing his, therapy session. I can only imagine, what's going to happen to him.
I mean, he's already in another country, so.
Well, he's in another country, and and John Walker vouched for him, so he's probably
true.
in the clear as far as that goes.
True.
Yeah.
True. Shout out to Cap.
Yeah, so I mean, so they bust him out, and the three of them together, you know, like it does remind you a lot of kind of stuff in Civil War, stuff in Winter Soldier like that. They even have a callback to a scene from I think it was Civil War. It was where he was like, "Can you move your seat up?" He's like, "You're not gonna move your seat up, are you?" Which was a callback to Civil War, and that scene. Which I thought was nice. I thought that's what Marvel was good at doing. They're good at the callbacks, they're good at the situations like that. They're very humorous. Like in WandaVision, they had the whole Jimmy Woo. He pulled out the card. Which, so if you've been, watching, if you saw Ant-Man 2, it's like, okay, that was nice. That was cute. So in this one, they enlist Daniel Bruhl's help, Baron Zemo, to help find the leader of the Flag Smashers. And when they give more details about the group, and then this one, they show a lot more kind of with the group. The leader of the group, I forgot the actress's name, but she was in Han Solo, that film, where she was.
She was Erin Kellyman. She was playing Carly Morgenthau.
Yeah, she was in that movie Solo, and here she is in this, and this one gives kind of more, kind of story to them, where it kind of explores them more, where you see that they're given, shelter, they're given food. They're helping people during this time, especially during the blip, after the blip, and how these people do instill loyalty from these other people, across kind of the world, because they do kind of do these charitable services, and they're just trying to best. So it's not so kind of black and white with these characters of they're bad, and then Falcon and the Winter Soldier have to go chase them. It's good kind of themes to the show, and it adds some dimension to it about what these people are doing. I think what they did with other villains of the Marvel series, like with Killmonger, like with Vulture, things like that, which I think is very interesting. What do you guys think about the Flag Smashers as an organization in this group?
All right. I think they're like a solid little group. But you know why I'm really here. But I do like their motivations. I do think that they're not the typical, oh, we want to smash shit. They actually have a goal. So I do like and appreciate their goal.
Yeah, and what they them, it's doing what the best movies in the MCU have done previously. It's gave your villains a realistic and human motivation. They're just downtrodden after the rest of the world came back after the blip, and they want to restore it back to the way things were, and in their mind make life better for all the people that were displaced by everyone returning. And that's a motivation I can get behind. And Carly, it's a very humanizing moment for her. And Erin Kellyman, she's doing a great job here as an actor, and as carrying across that humanity, something that we unfortunately didn't get to see in the previous episodes.
Yeah, very much so. And when they're going to, try to go look for information, Daniel Bruhl, apparently, his character is very, very rich. Baron Zemo, he's the fact that, but also how quickly he can have access to all these things just breaking out of prison. It's just like, well, how can he have access to all this stuff still? And
he's back in his home country, right?
I'm rich.
Yeah, no, he's rich. Yeah.
Yeah. So hops on the private jet. And the interactions that the three of them have are very good. Like when they're sitting talking on the plane, and they're talking about Steve Rogers and Bucky, and they're sitting around. I think those also are very good elements, because it gets into more of how both of them saw Steve Rogers, and he talks about Steve's symbol, this pedestal, this person who was so perfect that you did put on the pedestal that you just idolize in a way, and that anybody else is just going to pale in comparison to him. And
Zemo brings up a good point, is like when you see these people as symbols, you overlook their flaws.
Yeah. That was the major thing I took away from that, because Cap did help get Zemo's family killed, which is that is a real flaw that with his character,
Yeah.
Also, the biggest takeaway: Trouble Man is a perfect album.
Yeah.
Wait, what'd you say?
Also, another big takeaway: Trouble Man is a perfect album, and
Facts.
Zemo knows who Marvin Gaye is.
Facts.
Yeah.
Zemo is a man of culture.
Yeah. Zemo is he's woke out here. He's like, yes. Yeah, Trouble Man perfectly and captures the African American experience. It's absolutely a must listen.
Just Sam's reaction is like, I mean, he's out of line, but he's right.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
love how he just turns into the needle drop out of nowhere. Can we get more Zemo album reviews?
Yeah, you know, and when they're going to when they go undercover to go meet Zemo's kind of lead and everything like that, and he's like, and then Sam's like, well, I'm look at me, I'm dressed like a pimp. He's like, oh, only an American ideology would be like a black man who's dressed high fashion forward.
Only an American would think a fashion forward black man is a pimp.
Yeah, I mean, you look fantastic. You look great. You know what I mean?
It was like, oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Re-examine my personal biases.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, woke Zemo out here. Yeah, just going out the truth. Yeah. I was like, yeah.
Zemo's a man of culture.
Yeah, he's already thinking.
Somehow has become Baron Zemo is somehow the most woke character in the MCU.
Yeah. You know what I mean.
That also was kind of funny too, though, when they get to Peggy's place, or no, not Peggy, Sharon's place, and they're looking at the museums, the paintings and stuff like that, and Sam's just like, all right, so I know you guys have been around the world and everything, but like, you don't need to roast me about it, like.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I know you guys are worldly. Looked at all these, because like she has a business where she kind of, what do they say? She sells paintings, right? She sells art, like she sells stolen art.
Yeah,
she helps fence stolen art, things like that. So, that was a very good scene. And when Sharon comes back in this, because when they go meet Zemo's lead and they have to go undercover, and Winter Soldier has to be the Winter Soldier like he was, like people remember like he was, and he has to snap back into that mindset. Bucky does. I thought that was very interesting. Yeah,
I was hoping that they were going to do that. I low-key was hoping that he was going to snap and he was going to pretend to be the Winter Soldier for a second when he was talking to Zemo to get info. I thought initially he was going to try to do, but
yeah, I thought that would have been funny or something like that. They did that.
Yeah, but the way they do it here is perfect, just as well,
Yeah. So I thought that action scene when he beats those guys up and everything like that, I thought that was very good. We completely snaps back into that Winter Soldier personality is really, really good. So when they meet his lead, things go awry. And then Sharon Carter, she's the person that steps in to save them. It turns out, you figure out what she's been up to since the events, because we haven't seen her since Civil War. Was she at the funeral in Endgame? I don't think so, right? Was she?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Because I still think she was probably on the run still.
Oh yeah. So she's probably still on the run after that. Yeah. So you find out after the events of that at Civil War, where basically turned against the government, went against the Sokovia Accords, that she's been on the run this whole time. She's been the person, like the rest of them got pardons, like Bucky, like Sam, like Wanda, and it's kind of messed up because like she did the least out of all of what they did. I mean, he murdered tons.
I mean, she did steal the shield. That's government property, my guy. They don't be fucking around with that.
But Bucky was a Nazi. He was a former Nazi. They gave him a pardon. It's like, bro, you were a former Nazi.
Wanda, how this country deals with them.
And then you had, that's true, but then you had Wanda. She blew up a whole building. She blew up a building, burned people up. You know what I mean? And she worked with Ultron. It's like, damn, you can't throw a pardon my way. You giving all these pardons away. Falcon, they gave him a pardon. Like, damn.
I guess there's like a superhero privilege.
I guess
they
so.
They don't get paid, but they do get privileges.
You know what I mean? So yeah, that's superhero privilege, because she didn't get nothing and she had to go on the run. Now she's kind of living on the grid, selling fenced art. which I thought was very good. And now how she's kind of as jaded as she is. And when you look at her experiences, because when you first saw her Winter Soldier, that whole experience where she worked for Shield, and then Shield turned out to be a Nazi psyop, you know what I mean? Nazi operation, everything like that. Like that was there. Then she went. I think after that, they had a scene where she went to the CIA. After that, and then she worked under the Martin Freeman character. She worked under him. And that was a situation where she was like, okay, well, this is kind of bad too because of the whole Sokovia Accord. So, now she has this very jaded experience of America, of the American government, which, you obviously should have, very much so. And, how she kind of has experience, it's like, you believe all that kind of Captain America stuff, red, white, and blue stuff. That's just ridiculous. And I thought that was a very good update to her character, everything like that. Nick, what did you think about Sharon coming back in this episode?
Definitely think it's interesting, especially because when you consider that that right after the events of Civil War, that's when Cap and Sam and all of them, that's when they were on the run. So there was nobody around to vouch for Sharon to say. And also they were branded war criminals. And after Infinity War, it's essentially, the world's in chaos. We don't care. And she just kind of fell by the wayside. We don't know what happened in the 5 years between Infinity War and now, as far as Sharon Carter goes. If she could have been like already deep into the criminal underworld at that, and Steve might have not even known that she was around. He probably thought she was dusted like everybody else.
Right. Yeah, very much so. And in this episode, she's helping them. They work together. If Sam agrees that he gives her a pardon, gives one of them good pardons, you know what I mean? Apparently the president in this universe, he's tossing them around like candy. He getting everybody pardons, apparently, you know what I mean? He's just like, say, hey, you get a pardon. Oh, you're a former Nazi. Don't worry, you get a pardon.
Everybody but the Tiger King.
Yep. Former Nazi, but you also fought with Captain America. So, all right, pardon.
Yeah. Yeah, you fought to save the universe at the end of the world, so in Endgame. So there you go. Okay, fine. Yeah. So
maybe that was what qualified for the pardons.
You had to be at the big battle at the end.
Yeah. And you also had to provide proof that you were there too. Yeah.
You had to have a selfie that you were there. You know what I mean? Maybe Sharon could have said she was there. She was like, I was with that whole female team up shot. I mean, you didn't see me. I was kind of in the back. You didn't see it. I was behind Captain Marvel. She was glowing, and you probably didn't get a good see me. But I was there. I was behind her. You know what I mean? I was behind Okoye. You probably couldn't see. The staff was blocking my face. You know what I mean? Like, understandable, but I was there. But I mean, she probably would have done a better job there than, I don't know, Mantis probably. Like, she probably would have maybe done something better, But
I mean, as you can see in this episode, she could fight. She has hands. Like,
yeah.
He's a bad motherfucker.
Yeah. No, I don't remember her being that skilled in the prior movies, but like her in this, she is ruthless, and I love it. I actually wanted to see more of her.
Well, she was a SHIELD agent, specifically assigned to protect Captain America. So it's very clear that she is a badass.
Yeah, and she got a ton of bodies in this episode alone.
Yeah.
They gave her her fucking John Wick scene.
Yeah, she does a very good job in this. I mean, you saw a little taste of it, like her in Civil War. Things like that, but here you get to see a lot more of it, and good fight scene, good choreography she has with a lot of the people here. So in this one, she helps them find the scientists who created the super soldier serum, the serum that the Flag Smashers are using. They go to the scientist, and he explains how he came up with the serum. He brings up Isaiah Bradley, had the American who had the version of the serum where they could had extracted from his blood, and he could make a more perfect version of it, a version that had no faults with it, a version that didn't make you human growth, it wasn't like a over exaggerated human growth hormone that made you like super big like Captain America, made him taller, bigger, something
that made you like the Abomination.
Yeah, something that made you like the Abomination, something that drove you crazy, you know what I mean? That it made you psychotic, something that, you had to kind of stick in yourself, every, kind of few hours. Like, because I think the character in Jessica Jones, that character in season 2, I believe it was, I think he had to have, like, he had a version of like something of the serum. He had to kind of like keep injecting himself with it. This one is like, just seems like seems like, you look at the Flag Smashers, there's no fault with the serum. They seem perfectly in sound mind.
Yeah.
There's nothing physically wrong with them. And so it's like, yeah, this does seem like a very good version of the serum that you would see. So
They chill.
yeah, and and when he's explaining all this and Zemo hears him, I mean, you see the disgust kind of in his face. And Zemo, he just ups and shoots him, you know what I mean? And that's what happened, you know what I mean? When you just let Zemo out, he's gonna do some shit like that. And ends up just burning the whole kind of his whole laboratory down and everything like that. And with this episode, to kind of wrap up everything with that, you see a great reveal from an agent from Wakanda. You know what I mean? And I forgot that her name. Does anybody remember her name exactly?
No.
Yeah, but it was
Let's
it
be
was
real. Did she have a name in the movie? Let's be real.
Yeah, she had I believe she did have a name, but she's very recognizable. She was the move or you will be moved. From Civil War, where she was talking to Black Widow, and she's been following. But you find out at the very end, she's been following Sam and Bucky and things like that, which was very cool. That how he knew that, because he knows the tricks. You know what I mean? He spent some time, like I said, he spent some time in Wakanda. The White Wolf. You know what I mean? He picked up some few tricks and everything like that, which was pretty nice to see.
Recognize some tech.
Yeah, which was really nice. So, overall, what did you think about this episode, Jay?
I liked it. It was fun to see Sharon in this way with this development. I never knew that Zemo was the addition to the partnership that was Falcon and Winter Soldier that I needed to see. They might be one of the funniest like little groups in the MCU. Just like their dynamic, even though what happened. Their dynamic is fun to watch. I'm looking forward to seeing more of them together. Because I didn't expect Zemo to be used in this capacity. I thought, he was going to be the villain of this season. So to see him more so in like an anti-hero situation where he's just like, look, y'all want to stop the serum. I want to stop the serum. I hate superheroes. It just makes sense,
puts on the mask. You see him in his full drip.
Yeah, he puts on the mask. He goes to town on them, on some bounty hunters. That was fun. Honestly, just a good time. Just a good time. What do you think, Nick?
I agree with you. I did not know I needed to see Sam, Bucky, and Zemo as a team, because Daniel Bruhl, he's having the time of his life. He is chewing up scenery like it's M&M's, and he is so good at it. Just playing the anti-hero to Sam and Bucky, because like you, I thought he was going to be one of the main villains of the show, which I'm genuinely surprised that's not the case. And I'm more curious to see if we're going to see flashbacks to Bucky's time in Wakanda. I'm curious to see that relationship with Ao, which is that character's name. I probably looked it up on IMDb. I'm curious to see how they play, how they add John Walker back into the mix, because it's very clear that with his resources, he is just hitting dead end after dead end. So is he gonna do like he did with the first time and just tracking Sam down and using him and taking all the credit for their work, because they do them like that?
And speaking of which, we didn't really talk much about like the power broker character. Who I think they're doing I don't know if this character is supposed to be the big bad of this season, but I think they're doing a decent enough job of setting up their like sort of mystery, and like their presence.
I think with the Power Broker, I think it's gonna be a thing with the Flag Smashers. I think they have too much of a gray area kind of ideology to be just the straight villains of this show. So you need somebody. I think the Power Broker is a situation where he's manipulating them and playing off their anger, their fear, kind of get them to do what they want to do, and their nature to kind of do some goodwill. And I think that's going to be revealed, and then that it's going to be more going against the Power Broker. Even though in this episode you see the Flag Smashers get a little bit more, violent in nature, where they grab some food from this facility, this place, and then they kind of blow it up with the people inside. You know what I mean? And you see kind of them getting a little bit more kind of violent in their nature, because they said that's the only language that these people respond to. But I mean, so I think it's going to be a thing where they're just not going to be the real straight villains. I think the Power Broker is really going to be the main guy that they go after.
Yeah, because already I like the Power Broker, their presence better as a villain than I do the Flag Smashers. I'm gonna be honest with you.
just the mystery, the ominous nature.
Yeah. Like just the fact that they were able to get the entire city to chase down Bucky and Sam at the snap of a text. That was cool.
Which was really cool when they went to that kind of like that city, and it kind of looked like cyberpunk kind of a little bit.
It really did.
It was like, wow, this is cyberpunk I wanted to play in this world. It's like, wow, it's really dope, and people are dressed like it's kind of like cyberpunk futuristic looking. Everybody's dressed kind of funky looking. I'm like, wow, this is kind of cool. You know what I mean? But I thought that was a pretty nice addition in there. Kind of made me want to go to Germany a little bit. I was like,
is that where this was supposedly taking place? Majorport?
Majorport. Yeah, because did they say that was in Germany, or no? That was somewhere else. That wasn't. I'm sorry, that was somewhere else.
Okay, I don't know. I just assumed Majorport sounded something like a secondhand Singapore. So maybe that was somewhere else. Yeah, I think because they hop on a plane and leave Germany and go somewhere else. So that was my mistake. Sorry about that. I'm just guessing because the name sounds like a secondhand Singapore. I don't know where Manjapur is.
They said it's like in the South Indonesian islands.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I was.
So it's
like around India, and
it's very good. Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah, because like with Sokovia, kind of just being like a Russia-Ukraine-ish kind of thing. Like Manjapur just sounded like Singapore to me. I don't know.
It's one of those fictional Marvel countries that are standing for, like Latveria, it's very much Latvia. I'm forgetting other examples, but Madripoor is essentially like Singapore.
So Nick, what are your final thoughts on this episode?
Final thoughts. I just love the whole odd couple dynamic between Sam and Bucky, which is explored more here. My favorite moment of the episode was seeing Zemo interact with Sam and Bucky, and just kind of breaking down who they are as people, and seeing him operate in the world, and seeing how much fun Daniel Bruhl was having. Sharon Carter, she was a very welcome addition back into the fold, especially seeing how disillusioned she's come with the whole idea of America. I like that they took the time to humanize the Flag Smashers in this, because you get to spend more time with them than in the previous episodes, and their interaction, it was cool to see. And Aaron Kellerman's doing a great job in this. Where I think the episode falls short, again, it falls short only because it is as short as it is. It's only like a network hour of TV. It might pay off later. But it is, again, just the world building in the show that the scientist working on the serum, he couldn't finish it because, he got dusted.
Mm.
That sucks.
Chase, what about you? What are your final thoughts here?
Yeah, it was another good episode. Just like we were saying, like it's a fun time. My only slight criticism is like not so much a critique, but more so just like anticipation for what the end game villain for the season is going to be. Because I'm just not convinced that the Flag Smashers are the people we're rooting against. It's just not. They're just not. If they do end up being the villains, it's fine. I'm sure we're gonna get a nice action scene out of them. But I'd much rather whoever this power broker character is kind of be like the mysterious secret reveal. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I don't know. They just seem that whole mystery just seems a lot more intriguing to me as a villain than the Flag Smashers do as villains. You know?
Yeah. I think one of my critiques with this episode, if I had any, I think, just as far as, them setting up the power broker the way they are, sometimes, those payoffs isn't going to be as satisfying as what you hope the buildup is. And that's tough. You know what I mean? If you build up something like this, is the reveal going to be satisfying? The whole thing with him breaking them out of prison and everything like that, don't know how that's all going to fall out. Don't know how they're going to let them slide on that one. So Bucky won't be locked up or Sam won't be locked up or anything like that. So curious to see how they figure that one out. See if they're going to pick up the plot line with Sharon Carter. She's going to come back at some point, just in this series or just in future MCU projects. Because I think she is a good character. I don't think she got utilized all that well in the movies because she was such a, like I said, with a lot of these shows, it gives you a chance to explore more of the secondary characters, the tertiary characters that were in these movies. So I hope she does come back in future stuff. Where you get to kind of see her. Was she slated to be in another MCU Disney Plus show? I don't think so.
I think so.
Okay. So I hope they pick up that plot line where she does come back later on and she does get a pardon. I hope they do that. So with this series, I thought it was a solid episode. Thought it was very good. Interested to see where they pick it up next episode.
Yeah.
So that is it, everybody. We wrapped up. That was everything. Hey, we made some good time. This is probably the best time that we have ever done doing topics on this. Like, I think we should give ourselves a round of applause. That was pretty great. I mean, yeah, that was pretty awesome. Yeah, like almost an hour and 30. That's really good, people. I mean,
it's
usually
a great
we go.
thing we didn't review Concrete Cowboy.
If we reviewed Concrete Cowboy, that would have been. I wanted to review that the movie with Idris Elba and Caleb McLaughlin, and who's the kid from Stranger Things and everything like that. Now he's a teenager now, like more of an adult teenager. It's like crazy how fast. You know what I mean? Like this weird kind of how crazy how fast time just kind of flies when you first saw them in Stranger Things. Like Millie Bobby Brown in Godzilla. Just recently we saw her in Godzilla versus King Kong. It's like, oh yeah, Millie Bobby Brown. Oh yeah, she's getting a lot older now, and he's getting like everybody's. Yeah, it's like crazy.
Time flies.
Yeah, it's just like wow. Yeah, time is really flying. So I did want to really check out that movie because it does look very good. That movie that's on Netflix, starring Idris Elba and Caleb McLaughlin.
Maybe if nothing comes, is anything coming out next week?
We'll have to see what comes up. Of course, we got to review Falcon Winter Soldier next week. Of course, we're going to be doing that.
I'm
talking about movie-wise.
Invincible next week.
Yeah, movie-wise, we have to check. We have to check and see movie-wise what comes out next week. I have to go look and check out. We'll see. But
if nothing else comes out, we might as well,
Yeah. Might as well, So, great show, guys. Really great show. Hey, to all you people out there listening to this, hey, check out all our links. Twitch, /the afternoon tune. I'm planning on streaming today, Saturday and Sunday, but I'm having a little stuff with my internet. It's been kind of iffy. I don't know. Like I called because I have Xfinity. I don't know what you guys have. I have Xfinity, and there was a situation where they said like, well, the speed, what you're paying for is not the speed you're getting. I'm supposed to be getting like 200 megabits per second download, but I'm only getting like 100. So I don't know. So they said they're gonna send a technician out here to me and everything like that. So hopefully I get all that.
Tell you to stop using McDonald's with Wi-Fi.
Well, I mean that's what Xfinity's doing. So you know,
Dude,
I'm going by what
fucking with your Wi-Fi.
Yeah. I mean, I don't live in probably the best of places. That's probably just the infrastructure is crap. That might be what it is. I mean, it could be a million reasons sometimes with internet why it's kind of iffy and everything like that. But I'll try to get that fixed, try to get that worked out. Hopefully, you know, do the streaming. So Chayse is spared another week for me for him to catch that L and smash. He's spared another week. You could also catch us out. We're on Instagram. We are
Keep
on
telling
Instagram.
yourself that. Never help you sleep at night.
Instagram.com. We're at Afternoon Tune. We're also on TikTokers selling that data to China. We're getting chips in us from China via the vaccine, and we're also selling our information to China.
Yep, I already got my chip.
Yeah, Nick already got his. I'm waiting to get implanted soon
We're
with the
going
chip.
full communist in America.
Yeah. So we're gonna be doing that. So we're on TikTok, of course, facebook.com/afternoon. We got a page there as well. You can check out our content as well. Of course, we're on YouTube at youtube.com/afternoon. You can like, subscribe, comment, boost us up. 82 subscribers now, joined up there. So hopefully get that boosted up. Of course, we're on wherever you listen to podcasts, like Apple Podcasts, like Spotify. Hugely it helps us out if you review the episodes 5 stars, give a nice rating, review. That helps us out a lot. So I think, if you all could do that, that'd be super great. Chayse, where can people find you?
You can find me at Mr. Chayse Mac. That's spelled MrChaysemac on Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram. Where can they find you, Nick?
You can find me, Twitter, Instagram, at Night and Day Nick. That's NIGHT, the letter N, DAY, Nick.
And awesome. Where is Bubbles?
Bubbles is on her way to the vet right now. But
okay.
Here she is.
Oh, okay.
We gotta have our cameo at least.
Our fourth host here.
Yeah.
It's like, you can follow her Instagram at BUB_BLES 0922.
Very, very awesome. So you can follow her, follow Nick, follow Chayse on Twitch. Him playing that weak ass Persona 5. Him being bad at it. You know what I mean? So I always jump in the chat. Comment.
You jump in for like 2 seconds just to talk shit and then hop out, and then you hop back in an hour later to check out if I'm still streaming.
Yeah, you
talk more
randomly
shit.
Pop in to troll.
Yeah, no, I pop in to see how well he's playing. I'm like, this dude. I mean, he's still playing like ass. Let me hop out. Let me go back. Let me see if he's still playing like ass. Oh yeah.
This is how I know he's not a true friend, because because you could lurk, right? You could just have me on a separate tab and then mute the tab. He don't even do that. I see the view count rise and dip every time Josh decides to pop in and talk shit.
No, sometimes I have you open on my PS5. I'll have the Twitch open and I'll have you on my screen. And I'll watch you and I'm like, this dude being a bum again, playing Persona 5. This is being a bum. I'm like, okay.
All right.
What I mean? I watch your play. I watch you. You know what I mean? Don't worry.
Okay.
So yeah, you can check him out playing that Persona 5. I think he's still playing the tutorial. He's been playing that game for 3 weeks.
I actually just beat it. Don't.
Oh, you just beat it.
Don't
okay.
tell lies.
So all right, people, we'll head out here. Great talking. Great time. Hope you really enjoy the podcast. I know Chayse is gonna be happy about that. He has to edit it, so I know he's gonna be happy about that.
I love that. I love this time.
Yeah.
Hour 34.
Yeah. So to all you people up there, hope you enjoy listening to this. Hope you get a good time, and don't forget to always stay
tuned.